Hey everyone, and welcome to Uncharted Realms' weekly event. It's Friday, so you know it's another Armory Blitz coming at you tonight. 6 rounds of it. We got a great start here with Adam out of the UK trying to represent across the pond against George on Dash. Adam on Ira, George on Dash. It should be some awesome action tonight. How are you guys doing before we get super into the gameplay? Let me know how your week went. Did you get that 90-day XP invite? Appears to got mine, but let me know if you crunch it in there at the end of the day and at the 11th hour got it in. But we're gonna get into the gameplay here. Who do you have? I think my vote's got to go to Adam. Gotta support the UK a little bit. You know, a little top of the morning to you, eh? Type of business going on. George is gonna try to make a liar out of me. Uh-oh, no show on table 7. Martin, give a wait for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, if they have not showed up, we will mark them as a loss. Oh, he might not have woken up. I think it's one of our... That's right, we'll get on top of that. Big up on the tees, you're right, Elizabeth. So we'll see. So George is our active player here. He's our turn 1. That means Adam's going to be our tempo man, as my awesome producer nails down the guy that was missing. So Adam, so far his blocks completely kept his life total high. Rising knee there, got the bonus from the flick flack as well. George going all out, all 4 cards out of his hand. And does use the first piece of equipment. So George not necessarily getting damage. Nope, he is. It's going to take 2. 7 to 6 on the block there, and 7 to 4 should take 3. Did I math that wrong? 1, 2 boost, 5 plus 2, 7 minus 4 should be 3. Let me double check. All right, so we got that. It was a 7 into 4, like the display had indicated, which means that the life total is going to be 20 to 17 going into Adam's turn as our tempo player. So we're going to see Adam, he wasn't able to keep any cards and did get 1 attrition counter there, or battle worn counter to be more accurate and more precise. We give George a second here to fix some technical issues as we finally move into it. And we're going to see a couple of Kodachis coming in here. First one gets in, no blocks. Adam here rocking the mask, the spring tunic, the arm piece, and the Snapdragon Scalers. I always forget that ninja arm piece name. I'll get to that here in a minute when it strikes me. Second Kodachi for 2, thanks to the pumped up from the Ira ability. George here blocks with 2 equipment, does not want the mask to trigger. But because he is at higher life total, he actually blocked 3. A little bit of an overblock, but that's okay. I think he might have forgot that it was not a needle, but a Kodachi. Flying kick is going to be our first attack action here from Adam. It is played at chain link 3 or higher, so it does get +2 breaking scales. Thanks, Martin. I always blank on it. Oh man, doesn't that sound bad? It's great quality production value we have here in the casting. we should stop paying that guy. Wait, I just on, but Adam, nothing in there. We go back into George. So life total 17 and 19. George is our higher life total. Adam decided not to arsenal his last card. Drew up 3 and moved on. So George here, Teklo Corp, is going to pop. Plasma pistol action is the start, and well, surprise, surprise, Teclo Core again. That was the last card there in hand there for George, and not too shabby of a play. I think if you're gonna leave one card in hand as a dash, that's probably a pretty good one to have. So into Adam's turn, he's gonna have 4 cards in hand. I would imagine that the one card he did not arsenal is gonna be a blue card, so he's gonna lead it off with an Exude Confidence. Wants to try to eliminate any sort of defense reactions or instants this turn, thanks to Exude Confidence's continuous effects. When it is not blocked by an attack action with power equal to or greater than its power, its effect is active, and he's going to Snapdragon Scalar this most likely. Little bit out of sequence. So Adam should have scaled it. George is going to let him do it. Thank you, George. We appreciate it. George here being nice, casually competitive, I like to call it. Going to allow Adam to walk that back. So we'll continue this turn going. Adam, if in a more competitive environment like the upcoming Nationals for the UK, he would be a one sad puppy. But here we go. So Kadachi coming in. George blocked it for 1, 2. We'll block it for 2, thanks to the fact that his skull cap is active at +1 because he's at less life. 15 to 17 there. So flying kick again. Here's Adam's second flying kick. Not too shabby. You guys didn't tell me who you had. Who do you guys have on this one? The Adam or the George? My vote went to the Ninja. I wonder if there's some Dash fans out there. I know there's at least one Ninja in the chat. Cat. Surprised you haven't shown your support. But George blocks it with the remaining cards in hand. George is on the setup chain pretty hard. Gets 2 floating resources from the Teclo Core. Gonna use those as his pitch value to allow him to get some attacks in there with minimal cards in the hand. So 0 to 60 boosts. It gets the go again. Adam blocks 2 with a head jab. Nice looking head jab there. Great promo. Another overblast this time. So we've seen 2 flying kicks from Adam Red and 2 overblasts from George Red. Pretty solid. Pretty solid openers from both players. Adam's going to block 3 and move into reactions. George, no cards in hand, so he's not going to have any reactions. But Adam's going to have another... He's going to have a reaction. Flick Flacks it. Brings the defense up to 7. The Flick Flack effect itself isn't going to matter here. But we'll go back into Adam's turn with 2 cards in hand. His Tunic is now active. On to 3. George trying to chip away, but he finds himself down in life by 3 life. Make that 4 as the first Kadachi comes in. Looks like we are going to see a lot of kind of overbearing Ira here. At least as the way things are shaking up. Adam considering this means that this may be a Command and Conquer in hand. So we may see this Kadachi come in here for 2, and then the next card, we may see Adam use his Tunic mana. I would not be surprised. Yep, there goes the Tunic. There goes the floating. And it's Command and Conquer. Called it straight up. So a pretty awesome card here. Defense reactions can't be played to it. It's a nice generic attack action. I recommend if you're considering getting into more of the competitive line, pick that card up. Forces 2 cards out of the hand there from George. Now, I didn't have anything in Arsenal that would get eliminated, but wants to keep his health high as he's now 6 under. 6 under Adam. Adam's talking about whether he should have just gone at second maybe and pump it, but I like the way Adam did it. He says he likes it too. Got more cards out of the hand, and I would definitely agree. It looks like Elizabeth wants Ira to take it as well. I think that's a solid choice. George, we're rooting for you in the heart. But actually, that might be Is that Kieran on another one? Ooh. You're gonna have to let me know. Get pointed out. Alright, so Combustible Courier. Fired off away on the last bit of resources from the Teklo core. That's why we don't see a pitch zone there. Adam blocks the 2. So no pump attack or effects there. I might have actually would have liked to see Combustible Courier get Goliath Gauntlets there. I think that could have actually been a decent choice. George is holding it. But I do think that might have been a great time to use to try to get some tempo back in his favor. So Adam going back into his turn. No blocks here from George. Just gonna take all of the Death by 1,000 cuts and a Nourishing Emptiness for 7. Wait, 1? All right, fellas. Sorry about that. And lady, this is potentially had a little bit of rules clarification there. Nourishing Emptiness. Its effect is only active if there are no attack action cards in your graveyard. That includes both the Dominate and the +1 Intellect effect. So George takes a lot of it. And in fact, all and falls down to 3. Adam mentions that he might be cheating people out there. I don't know. Do we have some shady business in our midst? I jest. Adam is a solid player here. It's always great to see him. George now popping the Goliath Gauntlet. Took a lot of damage on that turn to set something up. So let's see what he's got. So Throttle's going to be the start. Pumped by 2 from the Goliath Gauntlet. We'll see if the boost hits. Of course it does. It looks like George has built this to boost the entire deck. So 7 go again. Thanks to the boost. I still would have liked to see the Goliath Gauntlet in the last turn. Maybe prevent Adam from functioning what he did on his. But alas, George going to try to make his stand here. Card check here on the board. George has 2 in hand, 1 in arsenal, 1 resource floating. No blocks on the skull cap. He does still have his boots, but I don't see him being super effective in this scenario. Adam here's got a lot of defense left. And speaking of 3 of it, 2 from the mask, 1 from the spring tunic getting thrown in front of this Throttle here. Then we go into reactions. And of course, the ninja has defense reactions. Flip Flack. Going to come in and make this 6 block total. 7 over 6. Means this Throttle does hit. But Adam's next card he blocks with combo is going to get pumped by 2. So George using his chess piece here. Teklo Foundry Heart to banish the top 2 to gain resources. So it has 2. So Yellow Zipper hits the play. Spinning 1 of it. The boost is going to hit, of course. So 4 coming in with go again. And George still has 2 cards in hand. So Adam, very incentivized to block out this turn. And keep just 1 pitch in hand. Remember, his next combo is pumped up by 2. The chain did close. So his equipment would be effectively destroyed at the moment. So Adam does not block with the card from with combo, so it does not get the Flick Flack ability. So Adam will take another 1 here, fall to 12. Or fall to 13, I guess, right? Yeah, fall to 13, excuse me. pays, I should probably be paying more closer attention to that. It's my bad. So George coming in, second zipper hit. This one's a red one though, so 5. Adam takes it down to 8. Ooh, he's keeping spicy here. And it's going to be a pistol. No maximum velocity here. Just a pistol for 2. Adam falls to 6. He gets to go into his turn with 2 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal, and a pair of Kodachis to threaten lethal here on George. Might want to update the date. You know what? That is probably a solid idea to update the title. What do you think there, producer man? It is the month of October. Yeah, good call. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll blame Kat for that later. She's supposed to. She is the check on that. I jest. So Adam, first Kodachi, and then Torrent of Tempo. If it hits, go again. Adam here not coming in with the second Kodachi, but this one comes in for 6. I would have liked to have seen the second Kodachi, but he's got the Razor's Reflex, which is why he does it. To pump it up by 3. And that will get in over George, who doesn't have a defense reaction. So Ira closes it out as we now have an appropriately titled video. We appreciate it, guys. That's why you're here. Keep us in check. And Adam, the Ira, as I think we all called it, as much as George was in our hearts, the Ira was on the W. So that wraps up here for round number 1. I'm waiting. I've been told that there's spicy decks in the meta today. So keep that in mind here for some of the following games. I was told that there might be some Lexi. I was told some Briar. And we had an Oldhim last week as well. But I was told some spicy decks. So because the grind's over, it's time to see the spice. So it might get hot in here. But we'll find out there in round 2. So stay tuned, guys. Don't go anywhere. Round 2 will come at you shortly. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms of the weekly event. We're in round 2 of our Friday night armory event. It's another 6-rounder of Blitz, and as I just mentioned, round 2 of it, we've got George on the Oldhim. Nice looking card there, and Kenneth on the Prism. Now, I do know that this is an aggro Prism here from Kenneth, and doesn't exactly have a lot of the auras and defensive thoughts that a lot of the constructed Prism does. So he is not gonna have a fun time in this matchup, as the Guardian he is facing it has a classic 6 power attack. So that's gonna be triggering Phantasm quite often. So who do you have in this match? Do you have George on the Santa Claus Guardian, or do you have Kenneth on the Illusionist? With all of these Phantasm and fake attacks, fake news is what you're saying on how this game's going to go. But George is likely going to take it. That's where my vote's going to be. As much as I would love to see Kenneth win, he's got the vote in my heart, but the vote on the power does look like George. Now, George does have the crown up on top. The Heart of Ice, great card there. The Crater Fist and the Time Skippers. And here we go. Kenneth, you're going to start it off with an attack. It gets popped to Phantasm. Kenneth passes priority back to end the turn. George sigils to gain 3 life and cycle up a card. Great choice. He cycles up a card because at the end of this turn, he draws up, just like his opponent will. Now, Kenneth does get Arsenal advantage, but he's going to have a very rough time. Yep, you got it right there, Catherino. Oldhim gets to block every single attack with 1 card. George here playing in the glasses here, playing in the fuzzy mode. Forgot his glasses for his webcam. But that's okay. Maybe it'll cycle out there. And we'll get to see some crispness of this ice win. But sometimes ice is a little bit blurry, you know? You pull the cubes out, you can't quite see through them. So I can understand it. That's just some frozen clarity. Harris Thunder is going to start. That's going to be +1 and dominate. And a nice discard effect, a double pummel or a crippling crush type effect on the Terra Sunder. In terms of the discard, we may just see an old winner's will here to attack. Great combination. George did not pitch an ice for this, so it does not have its on hit effect, but it does have the Terra Sunder's on hit effect. So 5 with dominate. Ooh, can it though? Hello, the one card he needed to see when he needed to see it. One of 2 soul shields going down, and you know what? Now Prism might have a chance. That was pretty good. I mean, not much of one, but a small one. Kenan wants to try to get some damage back in there. I like it. He does have the Dreamweavers. He's going to be able to pop there for at least one attack to go in. Cross traps into Dreamweavers. We may see a Herald of Erudition here. It's going to have go again, whatever it is. It's going to be Phantasmify. Plus it up. Let's go. Huge. Huge attack. Herald of Protection. Red coming in for 11. +5 from the Phantasmify. George, though, wants to have a response. George checking on hit effects. So before this attack is directly resolved yet, George taking a moment to think about it. It might have a reaction here he wants to do. It is going to be 11, so Prism's definitely getting in. No Phantasm here, so that's pretty big for Kenan, our Prism player there on the bottom of your screen. And Soul Shields are the way, or Spectral Shield tokens are the way Kenan can kind of overwhelm a Guardian. And this build directly, he's not going to have a lot of opportunities to make them. Mainly just on the back of Herald of Protections and getting any cards into his Hero Soul. But he's not playing any shields. He's not playing any Prismatic Shields or anything else of the effect. He's all aggro. But he does get to take first blood here as he hits his opponent for a solid, was that? Count him up. 8. Knocks him to 15. So 20 to 15. And Kenan will create a shield, get the go again with the shield, attack him for 1. That's going to come in. And so Kenan gets a solid attack there. 9 damage total for that turn. And at least there's some life to this Prism. George is going to rouse. It's got 7 go again. And now we're about to see that Bravo Pain. And not the Bravo Pain, the Guardian Pain. Oh boy. So Prism making at least a good case for himself here. You know, giving it a good try. Ken is going to take the 7. Wants to keep cards in hand. And then here come Winter's Grasp with the on-hit effect this time, thanks to the ice being pitched. George will be able to arsenal a card as well. And make some plays. So 4, and if it hits, creates a Frostbite token. Kenan lamenting the fact he didn't save all of his attacks, or all of his equipment for the Herald of Erudition. But alas, Kenan did need to fire off on at least a little bit of damage and tempo. Kenan taking the solid win of just at least getting damage in this game. So he's a big fan of that. So I think we may see another Soul Shield here. Oh, boots to start. And a block. To block for the total of 4. So Kenan not going to get a Frostbite token. 1 energy resource there is going to fade away as George draws back up to his hand size of 4 after arsenaling. And so we'll go into Kenneth's turn here with 2 in hands. And we'll likely see 1 attack here from Kenneth and move on. Erudition now, dominated. Kenneth's only chance here is to catch George napping on the 6 power, but that's not ever going to be the case against a Guardian player. And we will move on back into George's turn with 3 cards in hand and 1 in arsenal. So Phantasm popped there on that Erudition you see popping up. It's a great Prism card. It extends the Prism turn and is just absolutely solid. That draw effect and going to the soul just enables so much. So George, Winter's Wail, coming in for 4. Straight up, that's it. No ice was pitched for it, or an earth was pitched for that. But we may see a pummel. Reactions here for Kenneth. Now, Sync Blow, so he does have a couple of defensive options in his decks. I will say that. And George is going to pummel it. Plus it up by 4, so 8 total. Into a 4 block. So 4 gets through. Sends Kenneth down to 10. So 14 to 10 going into Kenneth's turn. And he is down 1 card, so 3 cards in hand to start. Phantasmaclasm coming in. He gets to look at his hands. Oh boy. That would have been a money. This is actually, oh no. Oh. Kenneth there just rocked into, there is no 6 power attack in George's hand right now. And Kenneth is likely going to allow George to redraw and make a 6 power card here. Super unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. That was his chance to go off. I love the Phantasmaclasm and a lot of options, but there is a solid chance here, George. Yeah. Draws the Command and Conquer. No! Oh, Kenneth needed this last turn on the Herald of Erudition. And that was like his one opportunity to make through the game. And oh, unfortunate the life. George coming in, 10 dominated out of Arsenal. Oh, I think. Or did he use it to block? Hold on. Am I missing stuff here?
No, what is it? I don't know the name.
Yep, there we go. Kenneth takes 7. Blocks 3. I'm so sad to see that. The Phantasmaclasm at the wrong time. The Herald and the Phantasmaclasm needed to swap. And it would have been there. Or just not have the Phantasmaclasm. But you can't win sometimes. That's the way the cards come out. But we do like the attempt there. So George at 14-3, solidly in the lead. Spears coming in for red. Red Spears coming in for 5, excuse me. Kenneth's got 1 card in hand, 1 in arsenal, and 2 floating. So he can at least buy back his action point and still come in. I'd like to see Kenneth try to build up some shields to try something. But going to keep the pressure up. Warton Herald. There's a chance he's once again got George not on a 6 power. Nope. Oh, hold on. Right there. Just had to clarify the footsteps is a once per turn. So kind of just makes a shield. And we move on. No attacks from it. Going to George. Oh, coming in for Winters. Winters will. So the ice is active. It'll cost 1 more for Kenneth to do anything in terms of defense reactions or abilities here. So a small tax. Winter's Wail will also create a frostbite when it hits. So an attack for 4. Not the spiciest attack here from George, but it is a lethal attack. Lethal attack alert. So Kenneth, though, he does have the soul shield for this one. Pitches 3 in total to cover the costs. and does manage to block it up. Now, it didn't have Dominate, so he alternatively could have gone with another set of 2 cards and arsenaled that one. So Kenan wants to try to hit for 1. He could react here and make a shield to give it go again, but does not want to. Wants to arsenal and draw up for 3. So chip it away for 1. That's how the defensive Prism wins in Classic Constructed against Guardian. They just shields up and knock it away with shields, which the Guardians have a harder time blocking. So Crown of Seeds was the action here for George. Kind of just playing around with it. Kind of just playing around. He does get a draw card, so he did cycle the card out. So he does technically also have damage prevention this turn if it ever comes up. I don't see it being likely, but it could have a Merciful Retribution. I'm pretty confident he doesn't. George is going to make Kenneth discard. Winter's Bite. There we go. Discards a card unless they pay 1. Keep in mind that activate abilities and defense reactions are going to cost Kenneth an extra 1 to play this turn, thanks to the Heart of Ice effect. And CNC is going to come in and try to knock out that arsenal slot here from Kenneth. He needs to block 5 of it. He's got a Spectral Shield for the 6 point. So if he wants to keep his arsenal, needs to block 5. Needs to at least block 3 of it. But Kenneth blocks 6, keeps his shield. George says, cool. I agree with him. Ice cold. And passes the turn. Kenneth here now. 2 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal to work with. Excuse me, 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Kenneth here will make a shield. And we're going to see 2 pings for 1. So here we go. Prism trying to make an attempt here. We got an aggro Prism deck trying to make it by with shields. It's going to be a very uphill battle. But Kenneth's going to give it a good college try. George considering. I think he's got a pretty decent hand. George has the life to soak it up. So Crown of Seeds to cycle. Has 2 floating, does George. It is a once per turn instant. Put the face down card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. Draw a card, prevent 1 damage. And George will take 1. Fall to 12. The seed stops the 1 of it. Alternatively there, we could have also just seen George pitch a blue earth card to hold him and blocked up both shields as well. I didn't catch the card he pitched, but it might not have been earth. Now hold him's... Well, it would be... Yep, he would have the ability to do it in the reaction phase to the first shield. George here coming in Winter's Wail for 4. The Prism here's got a solid chance at this. Think below. Gonna block up the whole attack. Still trading 1 card for 1 card. Ooh. The pummel though. Ooh. So 8 total coming at George. He's blocking for 4. Would take 4. But he's got 2 shields. So effectively he's at 6. And he does. Goes to 1. Oh boy, great time pummel there for George. Very coolly says yeah, and as he draws his cards up, and is like, I got this. This is I didn't know these games are going to be so easy. But to give credit to our Prism player Kenneth here, it is a tough matchup for Prism. Thanks to that Phantasm. Well, it's a tough matchup for the aggro Prism, for sure. George confirming the life totals there. Kenneth is at 1. And he says, yeah, I am likely going to die. Red Spear's coming in for 5. 2 cards in hand. 1 pitch available. Now, Kenneth, I believe, does run the yellow pummels. Something to keep in mind. Not active for Spears here. George going to pitch to Staunch and block the 5. Okay, great job, George. 2 cards still in hand. Now he could be taking all this damage if he wants. He's not in much of a rush. Here's Arrow of Erudition. And pops. There's Phantasm. Kenneth lets him know it was a great play, great block. I would agree with him. It was solid. George, with the 1 card in hand, just gets to swing for 4. So more of a defensive Oldhim here. That's why we're seeing this game kind of struggle or limp its way to a close. The train is kind of just quite getting there to the station. Given enough time, it would roll all the way in. But that is why our Prism player here is allowed to survive at 1. George, though, just staying at it. Ken is trying to navigate his next turn. Pitches for 1, gets the footsteps, and blocks with the card from hand. So Kenan moves into his turn with 2 cards in hand and an opponent at 12 life. Gonna need a miracle. Chimera for 7 is not likely that miracle. George could just take all of this. It's a yellow Chimera, so it's going to come in for 7. Still has the Phantasm effect. George taking stock of what Kenneth can do. No cards in hand here. Could just take this and kill him on the next turn, hopefully. George thinking about popping it, but he doesn't really want to. He just wants to kill. I agree with you, George. Oh, he wants to pop it. All right, no sweat. Don't even risk it. Okie dokie. I think I see a Channel Lake Frizzard there in George's turn. Hand. Heart of Ice active. Yep. Okay, George coming in with the Winner's Whale again. So it'll cost 2 resources now to play or to do the footsteps. And 4 coming in. So interesting choices here from George. He's being very friendly on the block, but he's staying dedicated on his strategy. It is a defensive Oldhim build. Mainly on the idea of I can use 3 cards out of my hand to block every turn and just pitch 1 blue ice to come in for 4 with an on-hit effect. It's sort of like Ninja, but all on 1 card. Kenan blocks 5. There's a Plunder Run and a Wartune Herald out of the hand there from Kenan. Now, not surprised there. Kenan Illuminate coming in for 3. George takes it. Kenan's a big fan of taking hitting damage. Illuminate moves to the soul because it hit. And Kenan passes the turn. So into George, 9-1. George looking to close it out now. Rouse. Let's see. 7 go again. Reveals enough. Seven go again here, and then George will be able to come in with the Glacial Footsteps after this. Not going to be dominated, unfortunately. I think I would have liked to have seen Glacial Footsteps get cast instead. Keep that Rouse the Ancients in there and use the Winter's Grasp to dominate it. Give it dominate. That's what I would have liked to see. But George going with the other options, the Rouse into the Glacial non-dominated. And it creates a shield. Needs to block for 6. There we go. No pummels left here available for George, as Ken is worried about. So the shield pops. 1 card in hand. George needs to come in for an attack for 4 or more. Both the Sink Belows are already gone, at least the red ones. And here we go. Glacial Footsteps for 8. And that'll do it. George takes the win here over Prism. And that'll wrap it up here for round number 2. Yeah, I think pretty classic. Aggro Prism does not match well against Guardian. So for you aggro Prism players, keep an eye out on the meta. Make sure there's not a lot of Bravos and Oldhims in your area. But it still looks good. It still did some damage. So give Kenan a lot of credit. And we'll catch you guys back for round number 3 shortly. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' Wheat Friday event. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be names in the awesome production studio here at Uncharted Realms. Excited, not because it's Friday night, not because it's Armory, not because it's Blitz, but because there's a Kano out on the field. Well, at least one of us here is excited. I'll tell you that. Hey, 50%'s not bad though. I'll take it. Chris is going to be your Kano player at the top of your screen against Mattias playing Chain, but critically there. Look at this spice here. The Thorn play an attack and a non-attack action on the same turn. Thorn comes in for 2 and 2. That's 2 arcane damage, 2 physical. So this is going to be a pretty awesome arcane matchup. I love to see it. This is Chain with no seeds. Keep that in mind. Seeds is banned in both Blitz and Classic Constructed. But we'll rock through equipment here. Talismanic Lens, Spring Tunic, Metacarpus Notes, and Storm Strategies here for Chris. Against Mattias's Crown Dichotomy, No Room Robes, No Room Gloves, and Snapdragon Scalers. So I believe Matt's got Arcane Barrier 3. Unless I'm misremembering my crown. So who do you have in this matchup? I know who I've got. It don't even matter if they win or not. I've always got the Kano. Here we go. Matt coming in with a Shadow Puppetry into a Bounding Demigod. Chris is going to pop his Talismanic Lens here on turn 1. Deciding on 2 cards right here. Probably wants to try a fair amount of pop-off. Is also incentivized to throw some blocks out on this turn and keep his life total high and move into the tempo turns on Kano. But we'll see what he decides to do. So Chris has 3 Arcane Barrier, as asked there by Mattias. Chris resolving this Talismanic Lens still. Going in the tank. Yeah, who do you have? Let me know. Hit me with it. You know, my vote's 100% going Kano every time. It doesn't even matter. It could be Kano v Kano. Kano's still going to get my vote. I jest. But the Mattias here, though, going to try to make a case for why Blitz Chain is still pretty strong. So 1 top, 1 bottom here for Chris. As we now see a response here, he may just try to fire away. He's going to fire his lasers. I'm a firing my laser. Except it's all arcane damage, so what's his spells? Fireball? I don't know. We'll see. Crucible's close enough, you know. Chris still deciding. Ooh, throwing 2 in front of it. Oh, gosh, though. That's double tome. Oh, man. Chris, 2 cards out of the hand, blocks 4. Still is going to take 1, I believe. Or I guess he doesn't. I don't know. So, 15 to 20 still. Mattias soul shackled and came in with a... I didn't catch it. I'll see it here up on our screen. Chris takes 2, falls to 13. Oh gosh, here I am. I was looking at Kano too hard. So Chris, I was looking because of the tomes he threw out there. Solid Kano piece for just going super wide. But anyways, we'll move past that attack. It got in there for 2, and then we got another Thorn for 2 and 2. Chris blocks 2 of the arcane. And blocks the other 2. So Foreboding Bolt, okay. I'm not surprised Chris blocked with his hands, but losing both tomes already is really rough for Kano for just going wide. So he 1 top, 1 bottom. So hopefully he sees a Stir Fork Lightning here and just gets to roast away. Doesn't have the Talismanic Lens anymore. Remember, one of these 3 he decided to be there. Dice on top to remember his Tunic triggers. It's a little bit awkward here in Flesh and Blood to do it. In Magic, most of your stuff happens at the start of your turn, where you draw as well. But in Flesh and Blood, you draw at the end of your turn. So a little bit different there. So Chris deciding, yep, there's a stir. Tell me we got a fork here. Chris gonna read the card here from Mattias and decide what card do you think's about to come out. Let me know in the comments below. If you want this Kano to win, hit that like button. But if you want the chain to win, hit that like button as well. I won't tell you to leave just yet. I jest. We love all of you. Oh, it's going to be a chain lightning, actually. So 6 damage here, and Chris will be able to play another spell as a instant. Not exactly the biggest spell you want to pump up. You really want to see there's 3 big hitters in the Kano deck that loves the stir. It's going to be the Aether Spindle, the Forked Lightning, and the Sonic Booms. Forked Lightning, then Sonic Boom, then Aether Spindle in that order. But Chris here, not going to function off the Chain Lightning. Arsenal's a card, and draws up. Mattias down to 14. I'll have to keep an eye on that Arsenal slot. Chris could have fired it away if it was 0 cost. The last did not. So into Mattias here. Soul Shackle. Finding a Shadow. That's a great hit. Banish 1, and then Mattias almost missed it, but they caught it. Shadow comes out. Banishes Unhallowed Rites. Oh. Reverse. Mattias comes in for 4. Unhallowed Rites there coming in. This has go again thanks to the Soul Shackle. We got there. No on-hit effects. Mattias still has that Shadow Versa there in the Banish Zone. I'm surprised. I guess what it tells me there from Mattias after watching all that, we normally wouldn't see that in a lot of the games, but it kind of indicates to me that Mattias doesn't have a non-attack action card this turn he can play or wants to play. To give that Unhallowed Rites the ability to be cast out of the Banish, but he definitely could have left it in there and saved it up for later for another big attack. But Chris, no blocks, falls to 9. Ooh, E-Strike for 7. He's going to leave the Shadow in the Banish Zone. I like it. No cards in hand, no floating resource. If Chris has a Stir Fork Lightning right here, he just wins the game. Chris would straight win the game with a Stir Fork Lightning. Chris going to math it out. We're going to be here for a minute. There's other ways he could get there. Reverberate, Lessons of Lava, Chain Lightning. With putting a Blazing Aether on top with the Lessons would also do it. You're right. It's a great call. That is one charged deck. Alright, so Chris opts to. Thanks to the eye. This is all on the back of the Storm Strider's activation. 1 top, 1 bottom. I'm not sure Chris has the kill in hand right here. There's a stir, though. Okay, Forked Lightning with the Metacarpus nodes. It's 14 damage. Mattias can't block. If he's got it, Chris has 100% got enough resources for it. As long as he's got another blue. Oh, there's a Lessons, though. Ooh, this isn't... Lessons to activate Crucible. Okay, what are you thinking here, Chris? Okay, Fork Lightning and pump it with the Metacarpus and you've got it. He doesn't have the Metacarpus. He doesn't have the resources. So 12 total coming at Mattias. Just a resource short. Ah, so close. I actually think here a Stir into a Chain Lightning into a Lessons. 3, 6. So 6 plus 3. Well, let me see if he has the resources for it. Oh, I missed it. What happened here? Oh, because it go again and comes in with the shadow. Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, I missed it because I was trying to math out the Kano. Mattias gets there. Chris only gets in for 2. I had missed the Snapdragon Scalers as well, to be fair. Chris was just a damage off, making the 14. I'm trying to run through the combinations there. The Chain Lightning and Lessons. Oh, there might have been another line there that gets there by putting a Blazing Aether on top. He needs to find 7 damage straight. So you think Chain Lightning and Lessons is 6 apiece, plus a Crucible Pump for 7. Let's see if he has a chance to get it out. Nah, he wouldn't have it there. Unfortunate for a Kano player, but man, the chain, you're right. The deck's so strong, it charged the phone, and it got there with the Snapdragon into the Thorn. Sorry about that. I was too distracted thinking wizard things. Well, that does it for round number 3. That means we're halfway there, fellas and ladies. Don't go anywhere. Round number 4 will come at you pretty quick. Now, that was a quick round, but you know what? We got to see some Kano action, which we haven't seen in a while, so I can't complain too much. Stay tuned, though, guys. We'll catch you shortly. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' Friday event. We're in round 4 of 6 of tonight's Armory Blitz. Got Mattias and George, both we've seen on screen already. They're going to duke it out for the winners of winners on stream. And then a couple rounds after that, so. But this is our first head-to-head on 2 that have already been on stream before tonight, so where to come in. Who do you have in this one? I see all you guys voting against the Kano in the last game, and my heart, it kind of shattered a little bit. But that's okay. Kano players were known to put it back together and live through the salt of our opponents, so that's okay. I'm sure that the wizard there will get built back up in no time. But into the current game, Mattias on the chain with the Thorn again, and George on the old him. See him from from game number 1. Or no. Excuse me. Was it game number 1? Oh gosh, round number 1. I'm blanking now. Ooh, excuse me. There, those that are watching the series or the games back on the YouTube, you're gonna know exactly the answer there. But again, I'm a Kano player. My memory's pretty short. I don't remember what I opt to the top half the times, So it's always blind for me. It's just a blind send constantly. But into the current action, 20-20 here. George passed the turn, has an Arsenal card into Mattias's. Nothing crazy going on here. Mattias did use 2 cards to block, so technically George has a deck advantage. If we go to a deck out scenario, and also rocking the Soul Shackles. But here we go. We see a Naked Rift Bind to start after a Soul Shackle created. So that is a red Rift Bind. So coming in for 3, no plus up. It's not come from the Banish Zone, and no plus X because it did not come from the Banish Zone, and there was no other non-attacks. So George here, gonna use the seeds, cycle a card to draw from face down from his arsenal, pays with the extra 1. Well, so technically he had the extra 2, so use 1 of it to put the nice ram's head in front, and then uses an ice card to pitch to old him to force Mattias to throw a card back on top of his library there in the defense reaction stage. So George, defense for 2, takes 1. Well, hold on. George, I think, had misheard there, but takes 1. We'll see if we're going to take it back. George is fine with it. He'll take 1. George thought it was 2 coming in, but it was 3. Mattias gave him the chance to take it back, and George didn't take it, so just took the 1, said it was fine. And we move on. George blocks the Thorn. And we move on. So, a little bit of discussion about that last bit, but nothing, no harm, no foul. George just coming in with the Winter's Wail, no on-hit effect. And he'll move to Arsenal a card after this and pass a turn. Just loading up the Arsenal zone for his crown. Wanting to get that 1 damage prevention and also cycle cards out. So it's a great way to get through your deck and find your money cards. Mattias takes the 4. Falls to 16. So 19 to 16 is our ball game at the moment as George Arsenal cards and draws up. So far, Oldhim, the old man, getting the better ends against this young, hip, popular Shadow Runeblade, who found his way through the trees very recently to pick himself up a new sword. That is for sure. So, and Mattias is here. Razor's reflex was the banish off the soul shackles. Now he's got some thinking to do, trying to craft through his turn. The carrion husk there, we may see it coming out pretty soon here. Mattias thinks this game's going to go on for a minute as he moves through his play. Or excuse me, George thinks this game's going to go on for a long time. Defensive Guardian against Chain. I don't know if it's necessarily going to go on for that long. Chain will eventually deck out. George going to sink below. Oh, I believe that's for 4. Attack for 4, block for 4. Did not come out of... no cards out of the banish zone there. Soul Shackle here. Plunder Run from Arsenal. Unhallowed Rites. 7. Coming in with Go again. There's technically 2 floating here from Mattias. And is going to be able to use the Thorn to come in for 2 and 2 after this. Great sequencing of a turn here. George is going to be hard pressed to not take damage here, which is what he's looking to do. So we may see him cycle out that Arsenal card. Oh no, the Sink was the one that came from Arsenal, excuse me. A little bit of clarification on the attack there. George coming in for 7 from Mattias. Thanks to the Plunder Run. So George here gonna go ahead and block 3, and then into defensive reactions. Throws a Sink Below and an Earth card. Uses his hero ability to block the next 2 damage, which is gonna block the 2 Arcane from the Thorn, and he'll take 2 physical. So we'll move into George's turn with 1 card in hand. And Mattias found 2 damage to bring this 17 to 16. Who do you guys have in this matchup? Do you have the Oldhim again? Or do you have the Chain again? Both of these 2 were voted for prior. So George using the 1 card in hand there to pitch for the Winter's Wail. It's ice, so it's going to have the on-hit effect. So if it hits a hero, create a Frostbite token under their control. Mattias not going to want any Frostbite, but thanks to the part to Chain building a second hand in the Banish Zone, can a lot of times pay for it. Can neuter the turn a little bit, but not a lot. Mattias thinking here, going into the tank a little bit. I think he's trying to math out whether he can turn through a Frostbite token. He's got the Carrion Husk if he wants to. I think it's a little early to see him pop it. I think he's going to wait. And he would want to wait 3 or 4 more turns on it. That's for sure. So here we go. Mattias defending for 4. 2 from hand, 2 on the Skullcap, and we'll go into his turn. He's going to have 3 cards in hand to work with, and 2 in Banish Zone here from the top here. Vexing Malice and a Dimensional Crossroads double whip. Oh boy, he's 0 for 3 on Soul Shackles. So just going to move into an E-Strike for 7 after a Soul Shackle. So 7 go again here for Mattias. And he's got 1 card in hand. He will likely Arsenal here. But it's possible he has a 0 cost attack here. I like to see him. I like to see Mattias Arsenal and just kind of set up for some more future turns. Cat thinks if Oldham can get Frostbites going, he might get it. Yeah, Frostbites would be pretty effective here. But I do think Chain might be able to pay for most of it. Ooh, George is not going to let him even get the chance to Arsenal the card. Blocks for 4. Uses the ice ability. Uses the defense reaction of his hero, pitching an ice to force Mattias to put the card on top. So Mattias won't get to Arsenal it, but he will draw it up here. So George, on his turn, 1 card in hand, pitches a blue coming in with the hammer for 4. Easy Oldham win, says Wesley. Ooh. Maybe. I wouldn't discredit Chain, but maybe. We are seeing George with only 1 arcane barrier. Do keep that in mind. But a lot of times 1 is enough against the Rune Blade. From the look of it right now, George is kind of getting chipped away at. But life totals did just update 14 to 14. I think given long enough, Oldham probably wins. I think I have to agree with Wesley on this one. Although, keep an eye on his banish, though. Mattias no longer 0 for on his Soul Shackles. He did find 2 on this point. That card, 1 second here. That card in the graveyard is in the banish zone, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. All right, there. Just got to clean up the game state. Move that card there that came off the Soul Shackle into the banish zone for Mattias. Now, going to go into his turn. He's going to have all the cards in hand to work with. Has 4 of them because he blocked with his equipment and took 2 on the last one. So it should be a big stringing attack. Ooh, and an Art of War. This should be a big turn here for the Chain. So Wesley, after this turn, let me know what you think. Does Oldham still have it after this round? So we'll wait and see. I see 2, what is that, Ghostly Visits, I think? Oh, he gives the next one go again. So it's banish 2, go again. So yeah, he's looking to have a huge, huge turn. I think there's a Howl from Beyond also in there. Ooh, Soul Reaping, great. Great card. Banishes 1, generates a resource. 6, has go again. Thanks to Art of War. And then Mattias still has the Soul Shackles available. He's sitting on 4 cards right now. One of them he can definitely get out. That's going to be the Howl from Beyond. I believe that's what that is. We'll have to see. We'll wait and see until he plays it out. I could just be making a fool of myself. So George blocked 2 of that. Didn't take any damage. Here's the Ghostly Visit on the Soul Shackle. So that's going to be 4. George falls to 10. Mattias with 3 cards still in there. Has the go again available. I'd like to see him keep firing away. I know there's 100% another Ghostly Visits. Oh, that's probably an Unhallowed Rites, excuse me. So, a Ghostly Visit, Unhallowed Rites, Howl from Beyond in the banish zone there. Oh, and another Art of War. Oh, boy. Mattias had the double Art of War in his hand and just couldn't quite get enough resources that he kind of needed to fire that away. I think Soul Reaping may have... No, because he still got to generate 1 resource. Unfortunately, all reds here. Look at that. All reds except the Art of Wars in there. So George going to take the 4, and that will do it there. I think... well, hold on a second. Let me clarify the life totals here. And there was 2 off the blood debt. I had missed it. So, Wesley, what do you think there? I think Oldham kind of navigated through that turn pretty well. And got to survive up. I had missed the actual resolution of that attack. I was looking too hard at the banish zone and trying to math out in my head what Mattias might have been able to do a little bit more. But yeah, no, this is looking pretty strong for Oldham, making a solid case for the hero. George came in with the Winter's Will that got blocked up to the Carrion Husk. So Mattias is guaranteed to take a damage a turn. Which also means Dimensional Crossroads is now a dead card here for Mattias. Just about. So Mattias coming in Shadow Verser. Banishing Howl. That's going to give Shadow Verser go again. It's the Majestic here for Chain. Not a specialization for him, but still a Shadow Runeblade, so practically a specialization for him. Effectively. But that's nice. Gives go again. Kind of loads up your stuff. So double Howl. Into a Soul Shackle. Into an Unhallowed Rites. Oh boy, 10 total go again. And Mattias will choose Howl to the bottom. Great sequencing there. George blocks 8. Takes 2. Mattias 1 resource floating. Comes in with the Thorn for 2 and 2. Uh-oh. George gonna take all of the Thorn, but gain 6 life on 2 sigils. Falls back up to 10, and we did a lot of spinning of wheels here for no effect over the last couple of turns. Oh boy. We're back. 12 to 10. Mattias takes 1, falls to 11 thanks to the Carrion Husk. Alrighty. So 11 to 10. All right. Good, fun stuff. So Mattias here, just hitting whiffs on all of these Soul Shackles. That is so rough. Only 1 on this 5, and it's a mutated mass there in the banish zone. Oh, rip. I feel for this man. That's rough. But Chain having some problems after the seed ban. It was definitely a good piece for LSS to take here kind of in practice. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Did LSS hit that right on the seeds? I kind of think they did, but we'll see. I know it's likely more targeted to Classic Constructed, but it affects Chain pretty hard here. Mattias makes a Rune Champ, pitching 2 reds. Now, one thing I have noticed here is he's pretty stacked on reds in this Chain deck of his. And not having the seeds is kind of rough, because you would normally play almost all 3 colors of it, or most decks did. So Mattias is definitely struggling to piece together resources here on the turn, whether it be cards or energy. Or resources, actually, directly. So, Mutated Mass coming out here. Another Majestic here for Chain. It's equal to twice the number of cards in the pitch zone with different costs. I'll take their word for it. It's 6. I forget exactly what he had pitched there, but I think that it looks good to me. George here, gonna put the card back in hand and give a I'm sorry. But nothing to be sorry about there, George. You're doing your thing. Playing Control Guardian. Gonna block the 6. Mattias coming in for 2 physical. George blocks the 2. Looks like George getting very close to decking his opponent out here. That's a very thin stack for Mattias as he checks it. Now, to be fair, 3 cards going underneath. Mattias is going to get a deck count. As Mattias counts the deck. Draws the cards up. He counted it. Gonna get a count here. He didn't say it out loud yet. We waited for it. 6 cards. 6. That means all of the Soul Shackles are going to be gone. Or is going to run through his deck on the next turn. George says, cool. Ice. He's cold as ice. So George just passing Drew up. Going into Mattias' turn here. All 6 of those are gone. We know all of them. We've seen them before. And it's only going to be 2 hits from Mattias. All George has to do, as he said, is survive this turn. And Wesley and Kat will call it accurate. And it's going to be a solid Oldham win. I think Mattias forgot to take a point of damage on the last one from the carrion. Let me clarify that up. Alrighty, got that cleaned up. Yeah, Wesley, you called it, my man. I thought maybe Chain was gonna get there, but man, did Seeds hurt. Look at all those Sackles populating. Ooh. Took him a minute. But sometimes it happens when you get chained down, you know? It doesn't move at your speed. Chain is sufficiently tied down here. No more cards in the deck, so this is going to be it. Hal from Beyond. Into... I believe we probably don't know what the 4 cards in his hand are. We might know a couple of those. Excuse me. I'm not the best at remembering what goes on the bottom. Again, I'm a Kano player. My games don't normally last that long. I don't think... Yeah, if I get to see the bottom of my pitch, that's a pretty impressive game, I would say. Oh, yep, we had seen that artwork earlier. So we do know. So Hal of Beyond, make a rune chant. 1 resource floating. Into Shadow. Banishing a... So 5 total. No banish there. Soul Shackle gives it the go again. Mattias, 1 resource floating. 6 damage. And go again. Or 5 damage, excuse me. So representing 9 on the board. So George pitches an Earth card to block the Arcane from the rune chant. And then uses another one onto the Rams. And then goes defense reaction. All right. George showing the pulse to get the double effect there from Oldham. Gets the Ice Earth. I had initially thought he had pitched an Ice and then was using his floating. Oldham actually works, specifically says you do have to pitch the cards for it. So it doesn't work on resources floating still remaining in your pool. You do have to actively pitch for that. Now, you could still pitch an Earth and an Ice together to do it. So Oldham blocked the 2. And then George blocked another 3. So I'm looking at 5 defense here to 5 attack. Well, actually, excuse me, 6 defense here to 5 attack. Effectively. Thorn coming in. George blocks it with the Arcane and with the Rune Blade and passes the turn. So Mattias here. Arsenal's... Oh, no, doesn't even Arsenal it, just draws. Not quite there yet. Almost. George super close. Takes one from the last turn from the carrion. 9-8. I think I would have rather seen George pitch the earth. Well, no, I guess he didn't have a chance yet. Yeah, he still had to take the... And he had the pulse. So that's fine. It's a once per turn. So he already did it with the pulse. So excuse me. Anything I was about to say there was going to be wrong. Mattias, however, going to try to find a way to close this game out. I don't think he's going to have enough attacks left to do it. Oh, there's a sting we hadn't seen. He must have been pitching that. He doesn't even know why he played it. I don't think he has any more attack action cards to send. he's gonna try. Okay, well, he does have one. Two arcane, two physical. George blocks 3. Or excuse me, 1 arcane. I didn't catch the attack. I'm sorry there, fellas. And that'll be it there from Mattias. And my producer didn't catch the attack either. But we covered it up there. Mattias is going to fall, take 1. Mattias did lose 1 from Husk. Came in there with a Command and Conquer. And Mattias took the 6. Makes a rune chant. Comes in with the Thorn. Oh, it was the rune chant. So it was double arcane. Excuse me. It was the 2. They're moving rather quick for themselves here at the end stages. George blocks and takes arcane. Takes the rune chant. 7-2. Updated score here. Mattias will take 1 from the Carrion Husk, fall to 1, and then George comes in with Glacial Footsteps. Finishes her off. So you're right, Wesley. It took a little bit longer to get there, but yep, George definitely had it. Mattias gave it a good effort though, a good try, and just was not able to close it out. I would imagine Seeds there would be would make that definitely a different game. So Seeds, it's hurting, especially also a lot of those misses there. So that does it here though for us. And round number 4, stick around guys. Round number 5 coming at you shortly as we get close to time here on round number 4. And after round number 5 is a prize giveaway. So I know everybody's looking forward to that. So round 5 coming at you soon. Hey everyone, and welcome back to round number 5 of Uncharted Realms' Friday Night Armory Blitz. We got Daryl on Dorinthia into George. Sorry about the delay there as we get into Daryl's turn 1. Iron Song Determination into Dawnblade means this is going to be a 4-power dominated attack here from Daryl. And we're all kind of following along with George's run through tonight's event to see how this Ohim does. And no show table 8. I'll give him 10 minutes, and if he doesn't show up, mark it as a win for you, please. We'll double check here and make sure, and see if we can't get him ourselves. All right. So George here blocks 2, and then pitches Earth to the hero ability to block another 2. Dale responds to plus it with the overpower, plus 4. George will take 4. And then we'll sigil. So it takes 1 total. Daryl's gonna pop his refraction boulders. Give this go again. And Daryl comes back in for 4 dominate. So George at 19, Daryl at 20. As we got another dominated Dawnblade coming in after popping his refraction boulders on turn number 1. Now the Ram's Head is available for George. So George there trying to navigate through some of this. Blocked all of that though. And he is now missing his boots and one counter on his what's that? Crater's Fist. There we go, Crater's Fist. Oh man. So we have a little, that's not your eyes, folks. I promise you, it's just a. You're not missing your glasses. Ah, it's good to hear that he's there. I love it when people get a match, get to play some good flesh and blood. So George here. I didn't catch the attack, and I can't quite see it. All right, so George coming in here. Sorry, I didn't catch the attack. The new guard. It's one of the new Guardian Majestics. Oaken Old. Thank you. Yeah, Wesley, you're on top of it tonight, my man. Oh my God, you're better than me. You must be able to see through that. You must have experience with the squinting, because I am trying and I could not see it. All I could see was the red little dot, and I was trying to place it. Sorry about that. My card knowledge is a little bit short right now for the new stuff. So Daryl facing down an Oaken Old. It was fused, so it had +2 and dominate, and if it hits, they put 2 random cards, and so it's a nice, nice, almost crippling crush effect. Little mini one. Number 1 and number 2. Go to the bottom. Now, they don't get discarded, so they will cycle back around, but still, for tempo, not too shabby. George moves to Arsenal card and pass. He's getting stuck with a card in hand because he's not used to having so many cards. He's used to only having 1 or 2 cards in the hand to work with. So he gets a little beneficial here. So Daryl coming in, Naked Dawnblade. I would think here that with all of the reactions that George has on the seeds and his own hero ability, he can kind of navigate around Reprise pretty easily and all sorts of attack reactions. So, George now thinking. So, George. Use a Tear Asunder. I'm sorry, we were cleaning up some admin stuff to make sure everybody had games this round. 1 second here. All right, yep, still 19-11. I am sorry about that, fellas. I had missed that last attack. This is awesome production value for us here. If you're watching this back up on YouTube, sorry about that. Just go ahead and skip forward 10 seconds or so in the middle of that, you know. We were making sure the pairings, people had their games for this round. All right, so George coming in here with another Oaken Old. It gets there. Daryl taking a lot of damage, falling to 2. Because that's going to be 11 minus 9. Two random cards to the bottom. Daryl sitting at 2 cards in hand. And this is a absolute monster of a showing right now for Oldham. Didn't even use that Tear Asunder. It was used to block just double Oaken Olds. And wow. Wesley, I'm gonna assume you are voting for Oldham again. And yeah, he definitely could have earlier. I just saw that. I had missed your earlier comment there. He definitely could have blocked with the card and shield if he wanted to. I think he was just considering equipment. He had the card in hand. But to be fair though, he also used that card in his turn, so it could have been Oaken Old that he didn't want to get rid of. I think that's safe to use your put a counter in your equipment to keep the Oaken Hold instead of throwing it out there to defend with, even though you would keep the counter off. So Downblade right now coming in for 3. At least that's what I see in that scenario. being most likely. George. No blocks. Daryl and a Quicksilver. Glint the Quicksilver, to be more precise. Gonna give this go again. George responses with a staunch out of Arsenal. No reprise there means Daryl is not going to be able to get it up above 6. That was 8 on the block, actually. 8-3. Dominated ice attack next turn? Maybe. It's still going to be an ice attack, but it's going to be a 4 if it hits. Daryl will get an ice token. A lethal attack for the game. Bam, bam, bam. Lethal, baby. As Winter's Whale's coming across, then Daryl can't afford to take any more of this. I'm a little bit worried that he took so much damage earlier with the ability that George has to give his attacks dominate on a lot of them. Terrace Under, Glacial Footsteps, Oaken Olds. And we have already seen 2 of them, to be fair. But Daryl didn't move to kind of chip away at any of that. Opting to just lose the 2 cards and come back with a little bit meatier return. So into Daryl's, though, as George draws back up with 1 card in Arsenal, it means his crown is going to be available for him. We got a Spoils of War to start, plus 2 go again to his next weapon attack, into a weapon attack, which is the Dawn Blade for 5. 5 go again. Technically, when it hits, he gets 2 coppers. You dirty coppers, you. But likely not going to get those. George blocks 6 from the hand. There is an Earth card that got thrown in there. Iron Song response to pump it up. So 8 over 6 at the moment. That means George could pitch an Earth to block 2 if he wanted to. But he did throw his Autumn's Touch there, as you see a blue Autumn's Touch in there, but has a sink. Sink below. No ability use on the sink. So 10 block over 8. Means Daryl's going to pay 1 to Singing. So it goes to 9. Remember, George can still fire off his crown to prevent 1. And if he has a Earth card in hands that pitches for 3, could just function on his hero ability. Daryl using all of his Iron Song responses here just to try to get this Dawn Blade in so he can swing with it again. But so far, George is coming out on top of this exchange, even if he takes the damage here and faces down another Dawn Blade swing. So 12 over 10 at the moment. George here considering. No floating resources for Daryl, so that Courage, though, is available for Daryl. Keep that in mind. George looking at his arsenal. That's in the right hand. His hand actual is in the left. George takes 2. Falls to 17. I think he wrote 2 on his notepad there, fellas. You're not at 2, George. Your opponent is, though. He took 2, fell to 17. George throws the remaining bits of his armor on it to prevent the counters. Coming onto the Dawn Blade. And so George will swing for 4. So Daryl considering. Daryl blocks 4, throws the gauntlets in front of it. Steelblade Supremacy is gone. So Daryl's going to have at least another Steelblade Supremacy left, but he's down all of his Iron Songs. So that should give good indication there for George to see kind of what attack reactions he might have left. George just needs to find 2. Dominated Glacial Footsteps would do it. So Sharpened Steel to start, plus 3. Into what appears to be a Dawn Blade swing for 6. 6 total. George here going to activate Seeds. Cycles his Arsenal card out to draw. He wants to potentially block some more here. Wants to cycle out. So he did that prior to moving through any stages. Goes to blocks. Throws the ram's head in there. Has one floating remaining resource. Not likely to use it. And now has 4 cards still left in hand. Thanks to the draw effect from the crown. George going to overblock. Blocks 8 total. 2 cards still in hand. As we move to see what Daryl has. Now, Daryl's only going to have 1 glint available, right? To give this Dawn Blade go again. So that's pretty much going to hold Daryl back from most of it. I can actually see Daryl's hand here. That looks to me like a route. That looks like a route. If I was a betting man. Daryl's got 2 floating as well. Not any route targets. I hate to say it. Now, Daryl can get damage in here. He routes it. Choosing Command and Conquer to return back to George. It's a pretty safe call. Now, George... So it's 9/5. George would take 4 as it stands. We're coming in with a potential big attack. George could function away on some defense reactions here, but doesn't. Takes 3. Down to 14. George now 3 cards in hand. One of them we know what it is. Command and Conquer. Daryl's now down his route. All right there, guys. Sorry about that. Math is hard for all of us, it turns out. Again, Wizard player, I can't math. My opponent just lets me know if they're dead or not. After I stop slinging spells, they'll be like, sir, the game's already over, but I have more spells to cast. And they're like, you've lost already. I'd be like, oh, yeah, your health total is below 0, sir. I'd be like, wow. It appears that I do lost. But anyways, in that case, George is sitting at 13. He took 4 on that previous turn. He does get a sigil. Go back up to 16. So, Daryl, Yellow Warrior's Valor. If it hits, go again for the next weapon attack. And speaking of the next weapon attack, it's the Dawn Blade. Coming in for 5 total. No counters yet on this one. George expertly navigating that. I can't help myself. I can't. Sorry there. So George, in response to the Dawn Blade, technically could wait. There's a lot of other priority steps that he would get in an attack phase to be able to function that off, but that's fair. Can do it in response to the weapon. Do we think the shield is a must? The shield is 100% a must, I think. It's pretty good. Pretty solid here. It's making a big showcase, showing for itself right now. George is able to block up most of this on just 2 cards, leaving energy floating. So George blocks 5. See it over and out for blood, so another +3, so 8. All right, just clarification there. Alpha Blood affects the next attack. So it did have go again, but Daryl was out of resources, not able to fire away and use the Alpha Blood reprise trigger. So George down to 13, took 3, plays a Channel Lake Frigid. Look at that, taxing away. George the tax man. That's what that T stands for. We figured it out. It's Taxman George. It does cost a lot. You are right at it. You are right, Adam. It does. Yeah, I think it's I think he gives a lot of options. So George is expertly using this crown as well. So you think about it that he's pitching for the crown and the ram's head when he does it. He usually fires off both at the same time on the turns that he does. So I think that kind of gives him a little bit better effective use of the resources that of the cards that he's pitching and using, right? So he can pitch one card to still block for two, theoretically, plus potentially more with the ram's head. So I'm a big fan. I'm a kind of a fan here of the ram's head. So George putting all of his ice cards to the bottom there does cover the channel cost. And Daryl is getting taxed. Phase 2 for the Dawnblade. Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's rough. Now, Daryl still has one. I believe he has a Stroke of Foresight available. I believe he has an Out for Blood available. There we go. We have Perry winning that 1 on 10. There we go. Got it. So I guess when you hit the X, it just accepted it. All right. Well, anyways, nothing going crazy here. On to George's turn. Snow's Tomorrow, Command and Conquer coming in for 6. We may see the Channel Lake Frigid go away. Oh no. I hope not. I'd be sad about that. That's a pretty awesome card, but George might not have had double ice. I believe he's at 10, by the way. I believe we're at 10 to 2. Sorry about that, guys, on the life totals. 10 to 2. Sometimes the admin stuff gets you when you don't expect it. So, oh, a blue Iron Song response. Ooh, George with the pummel. That'll do it. Daryl with a great game. Good call there, Wesley. Right as you called it, it came out. George, the tax man, willed it into existence. Wesley did, and George, we're going to see him again. We're going to see him in round number 6 as well. So I hope you guys are excited for all the old him games, because, boy, do we got them tonight. We got them. So that'll wrap it up for us here in round number 5. Don't go anywhere. Prize giveaway coming at you right after all of our matches in this round finish up. And then we'll have round 6 with some more old him action. And George will make his way back to the front and just keeping the show going. So George kind of carrying this production tonight. That's for sure. Certainly isn't us. But thank you, George. We appreciate your efforts. We'll catch you guys for the prize giveaway. Boy, the feels when you realize you didn't fix it. We forgot to fix the chat again. Whoops.
Supposed to fix the overlay, not the chat.
That's right. It is the overlay. The chat's right. It's the overlay. You're right.
They don't know that. They know now.
Well, they know now. Everybody knows now. It's out in the world.
All right,
it's on the internet. There's that 3 dice.
How's it going, guys? We're going to roll the dice, see how many times we randomize the list.
In case anybody has any ads, you want to wait a second? We do that pretty quick.
Huh?
YouTube ads. Ad blocker, though, if you do get ads and you're hearing this.
Yeah.
Run that Ad Block Plus on Google Chrome.
Yeah. But anyways, we got our list of 25 names.
You want to scroll through it, make sure you see?
Yeah. That's what and we're going to randomize this list a random number of times.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're going to roll the dice.
Watch it.
Hey, dude.
Hey,
You got that, right? That's all you.
Yeah.
Add that up.
That's 13.
Use a calculator. You sure?
That's 13, 100%.
All right. Yeah. It gets harder with 3 dice. I just want to make
It
sure.
does, I know math. Somebody check that. Again, Kano player. People just tell me when to stop playing.
13. All right, yeah. All right. We're ready.
3, you lost.
Here we go.
Ah, gosh.
13 times.
13 times. Can you do it enough?
Yeah.
Your finger might get tired.
2, 3. Is it all on there? Yeah.
Yeah.
4, 5. This is the content you guys wanted. 6, 7.
This is thrilling stuff, though.
8.
To be fair.
9. 10.
Ooh.
11. Let's take a second breath.
You gotta
12.
breathe a little bit. All right, here we go.
Big number, lucky 13.
Here we go. Boom!
Hey,
oh no,
one
it's George.
Number 1.
Who did George show his soul to tonight?
my.
My God.
And then lucky number 13 is number 2. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Oscar, though, sneaks in there.
But all right, let me throw these
man. Oh, no, I feel so bad for Perry. He's the one that wanted the extra dice and he got 9. I'm sorry, Perry.
You gotta watch. Maybe it didn't matter, you know?
Oh, man, yeah. Double check it.
I have to go back and see where not the roll of 9 would be at.
You're right. You would have to take off the extra.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit pair on round 6, and we'll be right back.
Solid, gents. We'll see you in the lobby. Well, if you haven't heard the sound effects, you have now. So we got round 6. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Uncharted Realms round 6 of our Friday night Armory event. It's Blitz, it's Armory, it's round 6. This is it. Daryl versus Mattias. I was a liar. Unfortunately, our awesome Oldham player had to dip out for the rest of the night. He's got some other kind of more local kids to beat up on, so to speak, with that old man deck. Those young whippersnappers, he's going to go try to whip up into shape as he made his way expertly through this event. But that means we're going to have Daryl and Mattias yet again on stream as they face off. In Daryl's, our turn 1 player came in with the Dawnblade. Mattias, 4 out of hands. Or 3 out of hands, excuse me. And the Skullcap locked it all up. Took no damage. That's a great way to do it there, turn 1. Daryl will have an Arsenal card here, and so it's going to be a little bit better of a games here for Daryl, not facing against a defensive Guardian player. So it's a little sad that we couldn't see the Oldham again. I was looking forward to that. I don't know about you guys, but I was really looking forward to it. But we're going to see Mattias try to, get revenge on taking a hard Oldham loss. And Daryl also in the same boat, trying to come back from a hard Oldham loss. So at least we're going to see 2 players going at it. Daryl throwing 6 in front of this Soul Reaping for 6. And Command and Conquer to follow it up. Thanks to the Soul Shackle there, giving the Soul Reaping go again. So 12 damage coming here from Mattias. 6 into 6 is the block. Who do you have winning this one? I was going to say Oldham, but technically is our winner tonight in prize giveaway and in tournament results. He is a crown himself victor. We had a few Guardian players come in and win here. Kurt, he's also come in here. He's a player those in the competitive scene might recognize. Plays a lot of Bravo. Another pretty awesome Guardian. But he may have a contender here in George. George might dethrone the Guardian. All right, so Mattias here took 3. From a Naked Dawnblade, and Daryl passed the turn. So, Ghostly Visit is the hit here for Mattias on the Banish card. The other Banish is from the Art of War he had in the previous turn. Or, excuse me, from the Soul Reaping he had on the previous turn. So, we're going to see when Mattias starts. How from Beyond is the start. Next attack is going to get +3. Soul Shackles to give the next action go again. Into Ghostly Visit for 7. Total go again. No resources floating here for Mattias. 2 Soul Shackles and an attack for 7 coming Daryl's way after a previous turn of an attack for 12 on the tempo play that Daryl took none of, and Mattias took 3 in return. So pretty solid stuff. Daryl here takes 7, down to 13. Into the Thorns, 2 and 2 is the call here from Mattias. 2 arcane, 2 physical. We look across there. Daryl's playing 1 arcane, 1 null rune in the hood. Daryl takes the 4. Doesn't use any arcane barrier, doesn't block any physical, means that Daryl's going to have a pretty spicy turn as Mattias passes. Draws his cards up. And we'll see what Daryl has. Could see a courage pop here. That's kind of what would indicate to me when a warrior player doesn't block anything from the hands. They just have huge attacks. But so far, Daryl is pitching. Steelblade Supremacy to start. It's going to give his next his target weapon +2, and whenever it hits this turn, it's going to draw a card. So this is likely the turn we see the Refraction Boulders popped, barring any big defenses here from Mattias. But remember, he's got that Carrion Husk. Well, Daryl is going to have to get over that, and Mattias could likely block this out even with triggering Reprise. Daryl 1 floating. After a Sharpened Steel makes this attack +5, so 8's total. I would love to see Mattias just come in here with the Carrion Husk, 2 cards from hand, and shut this turn down. Alternatively, he could do Carrion Husk Grasp. It's exactly what he's going to do. And that means Daryl, if he's sitting on Iron Song, is not going to be able to fire off. But that does allow Daryl to play his Alpha Bloods or his Stroke of Foresights, which do cost 1. I think Mattias here would have been incentivized to spend a card. We'll have to see what his hand looks like. I would, if it was me, if I was in Mattias' shoes and my opponent was at 9, I would be more than willing to ensure that this Dawnblade right here does not hit at all. No chance of it. With 1 more card here, that would be definite of no chance. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Double red Iron Song response, if you do with the card from hand, could do it. Daryl, he was thinking and realized he was still thinking. Still thinking. We went from thinking to thinking, which is okay. And so here we go. Alpha Blood is his response, so +3. So 14 is what Mattias falls to after taking the 3 from 17. Daryl will draw the card. See, this is where I would have preferred to put some cards out of hand to prevent the draw and to prevent the turn from going on. So Daryl's going to be able to come back in again with a 5-power Dawnblade on hit, draw a card. Thanks to giving it a go again from the Refraction Bolters. He's even going to pump it up. Warrior's Valor. +3. Thanks to that draw. So, Dawnblade coming in for a hefty amount. 8 total. No Alpha Blood trigger here on the Reprise, because there was no Reprise. So, it's just 8. I say just 8. And Mattias staring down another 8 attack. This is why I would have preferred to just spend the 2 cards there early, because now if Mattias spends 2 cards, he's still going to take damage. His equipment is off the stack, so he would be able to block again with the Grasp if he wanted to. His Skullcap doesn't block for anything. But the Carrion Husk... Mattias took 8, falls to 6, 9 to 6 there. So now Mattias is going to have to tick away into his health pool at the end of every turn. Sitting at 6, so guaranteed 6 turns. We will have a winner decided in this game. As far as I'm aware, Mattias does not play any sigils. We did see his whole deck. But again, I am a Kano player, so my memory might might not be the best. So Mattias making decisions here. I do think Mattias was incentivized to just spend 2 cards to ensure that previous weapon didn't hit. This would be a very different ball game at 9 to 14. with chain on 2 cards. So Out from Beyond. So the difference would be, so Mattias took 8 damage for 2 cards. Keep that in mind. He specifically chose to do that. Followed up with a Plunder Run, all right. It did come from Arsenal, so +3 on hit. Next attack action card that hits this turn. Mattias will draw a card. Shadowverser coming in. Ooh, you already Soul Shackled, so it doesn't look like he wants to banish. Unfortunately, this attack is only for 2 plus the 3 plus the 3 from House. So it will come up to 8, but man, this could have been a much bigger attack. This could have been a lethal swing if Mattias had any other attacks to go with it, and he could have held the Shadow. Well, no, he only would have 3 cards in hand to work with. And he already spent... No, he should have a floating resource. So interesting here. I'm surprised Mattias chose this. He does have a resource floating. He did attack with a Shadow of Ursa instead of holding it for later. I would have liked to have seen Mattias come out with a bigger attack here. And then potentially either follow it up with a Shadow of Ursa or a Rosetta Thorn. It did already have Go Again, thanks to the Soul Shackle. Daryl thinking here. It's not directly a lethal attack, but if he falls to 1, he will die guaranteed to a Thorn. Sure, Martin. We'll be contacting, and he could reach out to the streamer to be named account. Either or. Technically both. I could just answer that with a yes. Gotta know pick order. It goes from the prizes. It's gonna pick top down, starting with the cold foil. 1 cold foil, 2 rainbow foil heroes, and then the rest of them will be the polar blasts. And then the last week of the month, or actually the last 2 weeks of the month, get mats added to the prize pool. Something to look forward to there. Just in time for Nationals. All right, here. So Daryl falls to 4 after blocking a little bit. Took 5. So 1 card to block with. And now we got an E-Strike here for 7. Daryl blocks 7. 2 more cards out of the hand. That leaves him 1 in hand, 1 in arsenal. Mattias blocking the Snapdragon. Still has that 1 floating. Coming in Thorn for 2 and 2. Yes, packs do get thrown in there. So it's going to be 1 pack per participant tonight on Fridays. So that means 25 is going to break down over 8. So it should be... I'll have to work the math. Somewhere around 3 packs per. He got 4th, which likely means, unfortunately, just missed out on the Rainbow Hero unless somebody wants a Polar Blast. But it likely will be his color choice of Polar Blast and his pack of choice for unlimited packs. So Daryl thinking through still on this. Deciding what he wants to block on this Thorn. He's guaranteed to take at least 1 arcane damage here. Blocks the physical, takes the 2 arcane. That leaves him down at 2. Very scary. I think, let me see here if we can't break it down a little bit harder on the packs. I like to try to make sure that the Polar Blast guys get a little bit extra, but I think it's just going to split between the top 8. We'll see. We'll see where the extra ones go. Ooh, Mattias here letting his opponent know there should be a counter on the Domblade, which is correct. There should. Great catch there. Technically giving him the trigger back. So I think it's 3 packs per, and then a couple lucky ones are going to get an extra pack. 3 of the Polar Blast guys will get an extra pack. I think is how we'll end up breaking that down. Fortunately, it's a little rough on the... It's 25, you know? It's or one of the Polar Blast guys gets an extra pack because it's 25. 25 doesn't go into 8 very well, you know? All right, so 2 to 5, because Mattias took 1 from the Carrion Husk. I'm over here thinking about prizes, you know? You got to think about what you're You gotta think about the good stuff, the juice. It was that Oldham gameplay, but right now it's all about them juicy packs. Let me tell you what. So, Maddie is Shadow Puppetry in Unhallowed Rights. Out from beyond onto the bottom. I kind of think that it's just the card on top there. Maddie probably didn't want to go through his graveyard. Potentially. Most likely the right card. So +1 to this and to go again. And if it hits, he will be able to banish a card from the top of his deck. So Daryl pays. Excuse me, I had missed the rune chant as well. Daryl pays for the arcane. 2 floating. Still an attackful 5 coming in. So Daryl blocks for 6. Oh, I hear you as well, Martin. I wasn't expecting it either. But I am very, very happy it happened. This is technically table 2. I know we advertised table 1, but technically table 2. As we were talking there, Razor's Reflex came over the top. George, the Oldham player, he did have to, he had a local commitment on his, he had another local tournament going on that he had helped organize to run or to make happen. So he had to dip out to make sure he could go there. Definitely agree with that. When you are the reason that the event's going on, you kind of got to be there. But it was awesome to see him. He definitely is coming back next Friday, is what he said. So I can't wait to see that again. And I'm just a big fan of the Oldham play. Right there, Mattias takes the game with the Razor's Reflex over Daryl. Gets in the last couple points of damage that he needed to finish it out. And that will close it up for us here. I'll give you a little bit, I guess, to talk about it. Yeah, it was super unfortunate. I was so hyped to see that match again, to see more of the Oldham. But I think he definitely made a good case. I think he made a good case that champion is viable. What do you think there? Yeah, I'm getting some nods. Like I think that he's actually probably viable in Blitz or even in Classic Constructed, because if you compare it kind of to the Defensive Prism, they really do pretty close to the same things. So I think it's got some serious legs to it. I think it could be a serious tier 1 contender given the right builds. So I'm going to keep my eye on that pretty hard. But that looks like it wraps it up for us here on stream. I appreciate everybody for coming out and watching. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So we're greatly appreciative of that. We love having you come out here. We love seeing you. But that does wrap it up for us tonight. Remember, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come out and play again, or come out and hang out with me here and watch. I'd love to see you in chat as well. But on behalf of myself, James, and John, we appreciate everybody for coming out. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.